Hey y'all. Today's verses, we're going to finish up Genesis 23, partially into 25, just to the death of Abraham. And I'll be honest, I am a bit spiritually bushed. I don't know. I mean, I'm tired. At the same time, there's an energy there. An energy to pour out that isn't from me. Because the me is there, wants to go sleep for a month and a half, honestly. Because it's just, you pour. At a point, you cannot pour anymore. And it's difficult, it is when you ever get so tired that your exhaustion has exhaustion. And it's not a physical exhaustion, it's not a mental exhaustion, it's just a spiritual exhaustion. It's the pour and the pour and the battle and the battle. And it's to the point where I often wonder, it's like, okay, do I need to just take 5 now? Because at this point on the spiritual battlefield, I'm more of a hindrance to everybody than I am to just the enemy. And that's just being honest. You pour, and I was wrestling with just saying, okay, we've gotten to the point. Sarah dies 127 years old. Abraham a little later, and that's a wrap. But it misses the beauty of God working in Isaac and Rebecca, and it brushes over, honestly, a section I would have used to justify keeping Esther in when they were arguing about what the deuterocanonical texts were and the Apocrypha were. Because it's honestly a section that's just like, yeah, that's, yeah, justification for Esther. Because Esther's not really mentioned in the Bible, and in this verse, God is brought up and mentioned to, and a great deal, but he himself does not speak. It just happens the way it is meant to. But just being honest with everybody out there. And maybe I do need to start doing these little, instead of daily, once every other day. That way I can go deeper into it without being so exhausted. And honestly, that's just something I have to pray over and about. Because honestly, I don't want to just be snapshots like, oh, you're always happy. Well, no. I'm always filled with joy. Happiness is completely different. And yeah, I don't always feel happy. I always feel joy. I'd like to say that I always feel happy. And who knows, maybe I'll just save this as an outtake, but it's a curious, almost paradoxical thing to be full of energy and have none. To be at peace in the middle of turmoil. I love paradoxes, and I find it quite just mind-boggling. And it's something I could dig into the mysteries of my entire life and still come up drastically short. I could have billions of years to understand it and study it, and I'd still come up drastically short, because the more I dig into it, the more paradoxical it gets, and the more the paradox makes sense. And it earnestly makes me wonder if there is not a huge disconnect between real reality and meaning the kingdom of God, and the reality we're dealing with now. Because if it's a paradox to our standard, but it works, maybe we're the ones with the wrong data. Still, it's a beautiful thing that even in dwelling with God, there's more energy, and even in the tired, I should say, there is dwelling with God. You know, logic and reason. Even when we feel spent to the nines, He will never leave us nor forsake us. So I know that even when I feel surrounded by the enemy on all sides, there are more for me than against me. I know that there are a myriad of reasons in this world of strife and suffering and difficulty and just bashing your head against a brick wall of it, honestly. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to play the whole my way, your way, my way crap. I don't want to. Really don't. I want to do it God's way. And multiple times now I keep going back to that Joshua moment of, you know, are you for us or against us? Neither. I am for the Lord. It's factions and fractions and battles galore. I don't even know if I should keep this or not. Or post it. Probably shouldn't post it, but just a moment of being brutally real. The tired is not fun. But it is not the end truth of it, I guess. God keeps His promises, so it's just trusting to go where He leads. And I really hope I do that. I hope we all do. You know, it's a nutty thing, really. You know, and that's the thing. I have a lot easier time in conversation than just sage on the stage crap. Because it's having somebody spew rhetoric at you does absolutely no good. I mean, it's useful in the moment, but I should say it does me no good. I don't like just going and getting no real interaction. I understand why there's not much. It's still building and all that. I just want people to see that the kingdom of God has the different options, different paths. That this rip each other apart like wildest ravenous animals just... I mean, does it work for anybody? I know it sure as hell doesn't work for me. It seems like the stupidest way we could be doing things. It's like, I'm going to cut you down, I'm going to cut you down, I'm going to cut you down. Congratulations, you've just cleared the entire forest of life. Eye for an eye, whole world go blind. Why? Why? What good does it do anyone to cut each other down? When we rise, we will rise together. If we fall, that too will be together. Because even not looking at it on a biblical standpoint, we're all, even if you're not going from Adam's descendants or Noah's descendants, even if you want to just go from an evolutionary standard, aside from the fact that we are an intergalactic shooting gallery, we are a relatively close